Yumi's thoughts. The midwife called Yumi's name again in the delivery room. Yumi dropped the basin and trotted into the west wing. Wang Lianfang looked at Yumi's back. She had already tightened her armpits on both sides as she trotted, and her braid was particularly vivid on her back. Over the years, Wang Lianfang has been farming and sowing everywhere, but he has never paid attention to Yumi. In fact, Yumi has reached the age of marriage. Yumi's matter was actually dragged down. Wang Lianfang is the branch secretary. After all, it is not an ordinary family. Not many people dare to climb such a social ladder. Even matchmakers usually go around when they see Yumi. The emperor's daughter has no worries about getting married. Which shrewd matchmaker can forget this sentence? With a family background like Yumi's and appearance like this, she opens her two arms like the two wings of a phoenix. Farmer's winter is not leisurely. Water wheels, tanks and barrels, farm boats, forks, scoops, rakes, flails, and shovels that have been used for a year all need to be taken care of. What should be repaired are repaired. What should be mended are mended. What should be quenched are quenched, and what should be oiled are applied with oil. These are all things. None of them fall into place. The most strenuous and important thing is, of course, the construction of water conservancy projects. Chairman Mao Zedong said that water conservancy is the lifeblood of agriculture. The chairman used to be a farmer. If he didn't go to Beijing, he would still be a good laborer. The chairman is right when he said that the 8-character policy of water, fertilizer, soil, planting, density, protection, construction, and management is water first. Most water conservancy projects are built in winter. If a big project is launched, farmers may be more tired than when farming is busy. There is one thing that cannot be forgotten in winter, and that is the Lunar New Year. In order to make a summary of the past year and to seek good fortune for this coming year, no matter how lazy or how hardworking people are, they must live the new year decently. Every household washes and rinses rigorously, stir-fry peanuts, stir-fry beans, stir-fry sunflower seeds, popcorn, dust, repair walls, make rice cakes, and steam buns until the days are full of fragrance and steamy. It's the new year, of course, and there are a lot of debts from people and worldly affairs, so they have to pay them well. Therefore, in winter, mainly in the 12th and 1st lunar month, there is no farm work, but people are even busier. The first month is celebrating, the second is gambling, and the third is farming. This sentence makes so much sense. The real free days for farmers are actually only the second month of the lunar calendar. They use this free time to visit relatives and gamble on their luck. In the third month of the lunar calendar, as soon as the Qingming festival is over, which is April 5th of the Gregorian calendar, farmers have to ask for a living from the land again. No matter how important or complicated other things are, the life of a farmer is ultimately under the mud. When spring comes, you have to turn it over to survive. People in the city like to lament that spring is short. The meaning there is much more cultural and the mood is much more modified. The farmers really mean what they say, and they're talking about these 20 or 30 days. These 20 or 30 days of good time in spring are really too short, that they don't even have time to sigh. Throughout the second month, Yumi barely left the house. She was taking care of little Eighth for her mother. No one forced Yumi, and it was completely out of Yumi's own free will to take care of little Eighth. Yumi is a very quiet girl, but she's very considerate. which is mainly reflected in her family-oriented aspect. And the most important aspect is her nature of competing. Yumi accepts working hard but not complaining. She never allows anyone else to live better than her own. But there was no incense in the house, which produced a gossiping topic after all. Yumi is a girl, so it's hard to say anything more on this matter. However, in her heart, she was still worried and concerned about her mother. It's fine now. They also have a little boy in their family, so of course they don't have any flaws or clues left. Yumi took the initiative to take the little boy over and took care of all the hard work for her mother. She did so quietly and seemed to be concentrating on every move she made. Yumi has some talent for raising children. She learned it on her own right from the start, and within a few days, she was able to hold the little boy professionally. She put little Eighth's bald head in the crook of her arm, shaking him and humming at the same time. She was a little shy at first and couldn't do some actions right away. But shyness comes in many forms. Sometimes it's annoying, sometimes it's not, but makes her particularly proud. Yumi held little Eighth in her arms and made her way among the women, most of whom she spoke to were young mothers. Yumi discussed the wisdom and exchanged some insights, such as what to pay attention to after the child burps, the color of the baby's stool, and what kind of expression represents what kind of needs. These are very trivial and very detailed, but very important and quite pleasing. After holding him for a long time, Yumi's posture, when holding the child, and her tone of voice, no longer like a big sister. She hugged him so properly, steadily, and reassuringly, and so selfishly, showing an attitude that was touching and tugging at the heart. In a word, Yumi is filled with the temperament of a little mother, and our little boy seems to have mistaken the elder sister. As long as he drinks enough, he's not greedy for Shiguifang. His dark eyes were always directed towards Yumi, meaningless yet focused on staring at her. Yumi and our little Eighth stared at each other for a long time, falling into a trance for no reason, looking forward to her lifelong event. Yumi is used to taking advantage of such gaps to get distracted and plan her future in the dark. This is involuntary. Yumi has no husband yet, but there are a few good young men in the village. Of course, Yumi cannot fall in love with them, but they were talking and laughing with other girls, and as soon as Yumi came, they became cramped, and their eyes were like frightened fish escaping in all directions in their eye sockets. This situation makes Yumi somewhat sparse. The senior said that a high threshold is good, but a high threshold is also bad. Yumi believes it. Several girls in the village, who are about the age of Yumi, have gone out. They often cut the soles for their future men with shoes in their hands behind people. Yumi saw that and didn't laugh at them. She habitually peeked at the soles and estimated the young man's height based on the length and width of the shoes. Yumi can't help but feel this way. Fortunately, they are not proud in front of Yumi, but feel inferior. They said, "That's it for us. We don't know what kind of good family Yumi will find." Of course, she was happy to hear this and privately believed that her future would be better. But after all, it has not been implemented, so the joy will inevitably be empty, a bit like a bamboo basket under the water. Once it is lifted out of the water, it will be full of holes. At times like this, Yumi's heart can't help but feel a little sad, going around and around. Fortunately, Yumi is not in a hurry. Just think about it. Blind thoughts are always sour and sweet.